season is in full swing, and we are here to talk all about the Oscar nominations that just came out this morning for the 90th Annual Academy Awards. I'm Lolo Ganaike, and I'm here to discuss the nominations for Hollywood's biggest night. Here with me are People and Entertainment Weekly editorial director Jess Cagle.
Hey, Lola, how are you?
Hello. Executive editor at People, Kate Coyne. Hi, Kate.
Hello.
And People Movies news editor Nigel Smith. Hi, gang. Welcome. So let's talk movies,
Nobody's more excited than Nigel.
So excited.
Nigel.
I mean, he's literally in the movies.
Calm down, Nigel. All right, so Tiffany Haddish and Andy Serkis announced the nominees this morning. The Shape of Water led the pack with 13 nominations, one less than the record of 14 shared by All About Eve, Titanic, and last year's La La Land. Dunkirk received the second most with 8 nominations, followed by 7 nominations that 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri received. Phantom Thread also had a strong showing with 6 nominations overall. Gang, any surprises here? Was Phantom Thread, did you expect it to receive so many?
I was surprised about Phantom Thread.
I was really surprised.
really was.
Yeah.
Leslie Manville wasn't expected to get the Best Supporting Actress.
Right, more in the acting category. I expected to see it in Best Picture, and I actually did expect to see it in Best Actor for Daniel Day-Lewis. You know, a lot has been made of like this is his final performance, so I thought he would get something, despite being snubbed from other awards.
Yeah, he was snubbed from some other things.
Yeah,
So I thought that there was sort of a lack of enthusiasm about the film, which is a really beautiful, interesting film. I mean, Paul Thomas Anderson.
But it's an art house film.
Yeah,
it's not an
very much.
Oscars film necessarily, and Paul Thomas Anderson getting a Best Director nomination. That was a bit of a surprise.
That movie did really well. The fact that it's right up there with 3 billboards as far as number of nominations is
and he got the nomination that Martin McDonagh didn't for 3 billboards.
And we're going to get into that
That's
later.
a huge scandal,
That was a huge scandal. We're going to talk about that because you know we love huge scandals here.
It's a big scandal.
All right. Another highlight of the nomination is that Greta Gerwig and Jordan Peele both got nominated for Best Director after being shut out at the Golden Globes. Their films Lady Bird and Get Out received multiple nominations, and they're the 5th female and 5th black director to get a nomination in their category. That's nice, huh? The 5s are good. Rachel Morrison also made history today, becoming the first woman to be nominated for Best Cinematography for Mudbound. What do you think these films and these nominations say about our moment in culture now, guys?
Well, I think one thing it says is that there is a push on behalf of the studios and all of that to make sure that these people, besides white men, are front and center in these categories. I mean, if you think about the entire history of the Academy Awards, and until today, only 4 African Americans and only 4 women, and an African American has also never won. But here there were really 3 women who were being pushed pretty hard.
That's right.
One was Dee Reese, African American writer-director of Mudbound. One was Patty Jenkins from Wonder Woman, and of course Greta Gerwig, who was the one who actually, got in.
And that's interesting. You know, Patty Jenkins, I was thinking may sneak in there, but Kate, Patty, what happened?
I'm not hugely surprised. Superhero films, of which, despite all the accolades for this movie, it's still a superhero movie. They always face an uphill battle. It's a little too mass market. It's a little too, and frankly, the Academy was ready to let one woman in, not 2, not 3, and the one woman was Greta. I mean, it was really hers. I think they all should be sending Natalie Portman some flowers today, because I actually think that was a pivotal moment at the Golden Globes where she said, here are the all-male nominees. It really, kind of put the Academy on blast for these, and it's great, but it'll be great when we can have, maybe 2 women
that'd be awesome.
in the same category.
That was like a nice little ninja move there. That jab was,
it was
quick and effective.
And the reactions in the audience were the best part, watching the all-male nominees.
Like have to sit there and sort of
and then Guillermo having to go up and accept the award after that was a little awkward. I felt a little bad for him.
I did feel badly.
It's also interesting that of all of these contenders, the movie, it ultimately didn't get a lot of nominations, but it was a contender. Wonder Woman is, of all the contenders, has made the most money, and that's directed by a woman. Get Out is by far the most profitable movie of the year, and that's directed by an African American male.
And the numbers are astounding, Jess. I mean, Wonder Woman made over $800 million globally. Get Out was made for $4.5 million and has $200 million at the box office so far.
Around the world.
Those returns are astounding.
Yeah, and no one saw that Get Out.
No.
Nope.
becoming the.
That was good. I love Get Out.
I love Get Out too, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But okay, there were also some exciting nominations for acting today, including noms for newcomers Daniel Kaluuya, Mary J. Blige, and a few snubs for Oscar hopefuls, including Tiffany Haddish and Armie Hammer, and some fun, surprising additions to the Best Supporting Actress category with Octavia Spencer and Leslie Manville getting nods. And we're going to get into all of that more in depth.
Did you say Tiffany Haddish when you meant to say Timothy Chalamet?
No, Tiffany Haddish was a legitimate snub.
Yeah,
I felt like, there was a lot of push for her to get what I think of as the sort of Melissa McCarthy nomination, the way that Melissa was nominated for Bridesmaids.
Yeah.
There had really been some momentum behind Tiffany getting something for Girls Trip, similar to what Melissa got.
I tell you, she should be nominated for that story that she told about Will and Jada.
The Swamp Tour story.
On Jimmy Kimmel.
Well, in 2020, when they make Swamp Tour the movie, she'll get nominated that year. That's when it will happen.
Well, she also gave a 17-minute acceptance speech for Best Supporting Actress at the New York Film Critics Circle Awards, which I was there for, and it was incredible. It was like getting a full late-night show.
Well, she's a brilliant writer. Her memoir.
I was a little nervous about her announcing the Oscars nominations because I was like,
I
how long are these going to be?
Have they ever been that much fun?
No.
Well, she should be good when the head mispronounced that name last year. What was it? Poop something? Sorry, I don't know if I can say that on air.
I can't remember. I mean, Tiffany, I think, meant to mispronounce a lot of names.
I think so.
I think she was like, I'm going to, okay, I'm going to mispronounce them all. And I mean, it was really funny.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite was when she called it Ebony, Missouri. I was like, that's where I'm going.
Or Dunkirk. I didn't see that.
Something tells me that does not exist.
My favorite was when she said, like, I'm going to have to see that Dunkirk movie. People seem to really like it.
And Star Wars. She hadn't seen that either.
Oh, Tiffany. All right, let's talk about Best Picture. There were 9 nominees this year, and they are Call Me By Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, The Shape of Water, and 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. What stands out in this category to you guys? Any surprises or snubs here?
Oh, the snub is I, Tonya. I think it's amazing that I, Tonya is not in there.
I thought that was going to skate off with a nomination.
Yeah, I thought for sure it was a lock for one of the Best Picture noms, so I'm very surprised.
Darkest Hour getting in the Best Picture.
I thought that was
a bit of a surprise over I, Tonya, over Wonder Woman, over Molly's Game. All films that got PG.
And it doesn't even need to be over, right? There can be up to 10 nominees.
Yeah.
So capping it at 9, I mean, they could have still thrown in one more.
Well, it's all done. It's all based on, everybody makes a list and you have to rank your movies and it all depends on who, the movies that get in have the most number 1 votes.
Right.
And
so
the Biggest Sick getting snubbed out of that race.
Yeah, the Big Sick not getting in there.
So much love going into the race.
Yeah, the Big Sick and I, Tonya.
And they've been campaigning so aggressively. I mean, Camille Nanjiani shows up to the opening of an envelope to promote this
He's also
film,
been tweeting
which I
up
love.
a storm.
Yeah, well, it's a fantastic movie. I think overall, in terms of the nominations, The Big Sick not getting more nominations is a real shame because the performances were wonderful.
Holly Hunter was
Holly Hunter could have absolutely been a lock for supporting actress. I think Ray Romano doesn't get the credit he deserves, frankly, ever as an actor. But I think it could have been great. Yeah, but I would have expected to see it in at least a few more categories than just the one.
The consolation prize that this little movie has made nearly $45 million. So Kamal's fine.
Yeah,
he's just like in a big silo full of coins like Scrooge McDuck today going, I'm sorry, I didn't get a nomination.
Now, what do you make of this race overall? Is it an open field or are there 1 or 2, 3 films that really are the ones that are truly competing and the rest of them are just honored to be there?
For the Best Picture race?
For Best Picture race.
It's pretty open, I'd say. I mean, Shape of Water was obviously leading the charge with the most nominations and the recent PGA win, but I could see Get Out getting in there, given the surprise Best Director nomination. There's a lot of love for that movie, and it's very timely, and if they choose to go down that route, I could see Get Out, or Lady Bird for that matter. Lady Bird has so much momentum behind it, and it's a big hit. It's made a lot of money. I think over 30 million.
I feel like right now, if someone said, with a gun to your head, if you get it wrong, we're just going to blow your brains out, like you would. You're the first one who would do that. I would have to say Shape of Water. I mean, to me, because it got the PGA, because it got the most nominations, because the director was also nominated and seems to be definitely Guillermo del Toro, definitely going to win Best Director no matter what. I think that movie is I think if there is a lock, it's that movie.
It's the front runner for sure. I mean, I think there are a few films. No offense, I don't think Darkest Hour stands a chance.
No.
I don't think The Post stands a chance. I mean, there are a few you can just take out of the running that they're truly lucky to be nominated. But I think it is Shape of Water as the front runner for sure. And I think what you'll start to see is the momentum behind Three Billboards just drop off and drop off and drop off.
And Kate, you made a good point about that earlier, and I want you to share it with the guys here. Why do you think it's going to drop off? You said there could be a considerable backlash. And I want to hear more about that.
There is a backlash brewing to it, and I think it's a justified one. There's been a lot of conversation in quite a few critical articles and commentary about the fact that this is a film in which you're being asked to sympathize with a white woman's plight, but one of the sort of ultimate heroes of sorts is a police officer who has committed acts of horrible brutality against black people, one of whom you never even see that victim, you don't, and the other victim serves you up some orange juice with a smile.
Right.
After
you nearly kill him, put him in traction, he's in the hospital, and you are
here's some OJ.
Because, here's some OJ.
It is being pointed out as thematically more and more problematic to a lot of people, and that you're really only supposed to be sympathizing with the white heroine's plight and no one else's. And I think that is going to be a significant problem for it down the line as more people discuss this movie.
However, it will not hold back Sam Rockwell and Frances McDormand from winning in their category.
I think that's exactly correct.
Those two have got it on lock, and I'm glad to hear that you agree. All right, let's talk about Best Director. When you're talking about Best Picture, a lot of that conversation goes hand in hand with Best Director and the Writing Awards. Let's break down Best Director first. The nominees are Christopher Nolan for Dunkirk, Jordan Peele for Get Out, Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird, Paul Thomas Anderson for Phantom Thread, and Guillermo del Toro for The Shape of Water. And celebrities have been reacting to their nominations. Christopher Nolan, who received his first Best Director nom, tweeted earlier. What did he tweet earlier?
I don't know. He tweeted, there it is.
All it took was casting Harry Styles to finally get nominated. I like that. I like that.
I don't think that's what it took.
All it took was casting Harry Styles. That was
I'd forgotten he'd never been nominated for directing.
Isn't that
for
wild?
writing and producing a couple of times, but never. Also, Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
His first time. The only one who's been nominated as a director before is Paul Thomas Anderson.
That's right.
Right. And I think you're seeing Paul Thomas Anderson there because you're not seeing Martin McDonagh for Three Billboards.
Yeah.
And I think that is part of the sort of punishment that's brewing against the film. You know, McDormand and Rockwell are actors, they're beloved, and during the nomination process, it's only those specific groups that vote on who should be nominated. And so it doesn't surprise me at all that they're there, but I think you're seeing Paul Thomas Anderson because you're not seeing Martin
Do you think
McDonagh.
the film has a lesser shot at the Oscar for screenplay because of that?
I think it could potentially, I think it could potentially hurt it for screenplay also, definitely.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, Jordan Peele's a happy man. He tweeted out this morning, I just spoke to Daniel. You know when you're on the phone trying to disguise the sound of an ugly cry? I failed at that. Oh, that's really nice.
That is really nice.
The two of them enjoyed a very close relationship. Daniel Kaluuya, not known to audiences here, but abroad, he's a huge star in the UK. Jordan really took a chance on him, and clearly it paid off for Daniel.
This is Jordan's first film.
His first film.
And he's so good.
Yeah. And he got 3 nominations today.
Yeah.
Picture, screenplay, and director. I mean, it's...
And again,
unreal.
those numbers, you can't argue with those numbers. It was made on a shoestring budget, only $4.5 million.
And it's a horror film.
And it's a horror film.
Yeah.
A horror satire,
Exactly.
which had never really been done before.
never.
And here we are. So there's a whole new genre he created, too. All right. You're laughing. Why, Jess?
I don't know. I like horror movies. I like anything produced by Jason Blum.
Yeah, right? Well, according to the Golden Globes, it's a comedy, right?
Yes,
It's a musical.
it was a musical or a comedy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I bet for screenplay, while Martin McDonagh may not win original screenplay, I think that's gonna be the award
for Get Out.
No, I think that's gonna be the award that they may give to Greta Gerwig.
Yes.
Oh, really?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I think that the sentiment is going to be, I'm not giving her director, but she'll get best screenplay, and that will be, and there's some history there for doing that. You know, Callie Curry won for Thelma and Louise. It's a category that likes to kind of reward sort of actor, director, you know, famously Matt Damon and Ben Affleck won that category. I think that is where you'll see Greta Gerwig rewarded.
At the same time.
Wait, let's look at the nominees since we're here.
Gosh. Okay. All right.
Let's look at all of them.
You ready? All right. Nominated for Best Original Screenplay are The Big Sick, Get Out, Lady Bird, The Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. A married couple, Kumail Nanjiani and Emily V. Gordon, co-wrote The Big Sick, which is based on their own relationship. And Camille reacted this morning with a tweet saying, "Hey, Academy Award nominee Emily V. Gordon, how's it going?" That's adorable.
That's
so
cute.
I really like that.
I hope he called her,
I really
too.
like that.
They weren't in the same place.
The Big Sick was nominated here, but it wasn't nominated for Best Picture. Do you think this is the Academy throwing the film a bone, or does it have a chance here? Does it stand a real chance?
I think it's got the best chance against Lady Bird.
Yeah,
I think
really.
it's.
But Jordan Peele also.
I know.
You've got so many opportunities to reward a writer director. Who's going to be so happy to be there, right?
Such a strong category, though.
Yeah, and an opportunity.
One of the most diverse categories.
Yes, it's an opportunity to reward a woman, an opportunity to reward an African American, like
a Pakistani American.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
all right, and let's look at the Adapted Screenplay Award, guys. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. We found out this morning that the nominees are Call Me By Your Name, The Disaster Artist, Logan, Molly's Game, and Mudbound. Any surprises or favorites here for you?
Look at all the genres in that group. It's pretty amazing.
Right?
Yeah,
you
it
have
really
an action
is.
blockbuster. You have a bunch of indies. Yeah.
Dee Reese nominated for Mudbound. Very first African American woman ever nominated in this category.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Another little bit of history made.
That's incredible.
Fantastic. And she, again, not a big known director or original screenplay producer. Quiet film. I think her biggest previous work was HBO's Betsy with Queen Latifah.
Yeah,
And
She did this really good film.
Bessie was amazing.
Bessie's great, and she also did this film that everyone should see. It's called Pariah. It's her
with
first film.
Adam Perrault doing
Yeah,
she
and
wrote
it premiered
about
at
that.
Sundance. Great film.
That was great. That was great. Okay, one of the most anticipated categories at the Oscars is always Best Actress. Are you guys ready for this one? This year's nominees are Sally Hawkins for The Shape of Water, Frances McDormand for 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, Margot Robbie for I, Tonya, Saoirse Ronan for Lady Bird, and Meryl Streep for The Post. And the big story here is whether Frances McDormand is a lock and is going to keep winning accolades, or if there's a possibility it may go to a younger actress like Saoirse Ronan or Margot Robbie. What do you guys think?
I think it's
I think it's a lock for Frances.
a lock.
But I hope
Agree.
personally that they do what Frances said during the SAG Awards, which is give the, what did she call her award? A doorstop to a younger generation, opening it up to the younger people.
Well, it depends.
So if they do indeed do that, who will that younger
think
person
Saoirse
be?
could win it.
Saoirse or
I think Saoirse. I think Saoirse could win it. I mean, there's also a chance that this category reminds me a little bit of 2003, when basically it was like, who's going to win? It's either going to be Jack Nicholson for About Schmidt, or it's going to be Daniel Day-Lewis for Gangs of New York, and it was like, who's it going to be? And then Adrian Brody won for The Pianist, and we were like, wait, what just happened? And I feel like Margot Robbie
the dark
or
horse?
Saoirse or Margot could have a sort of dark horse if Frances keeps up with this sort of, it's time for the young generation. More and more people could be like, okay, if you say so. You've already got one for Fargo. You're set. You're good. We'll give it to somebody else.
And there's so much enthusiasm around The Shape of Water that Sally Hawkins can get in. I mean, nothing is ever a lock, totally. But I think Frances is as much a lock as you.
But Jess, I'm so happy to hear you say Sally Hawkins' name, because I thought she was extraordinary in that work. I mean, to pull that off with basically no words. I mean,
film performance,
her fingers deserve a nomination.
I mean, if you don't
for
have to
Oscar.
memorize lines for a movie, you should.
Holly Hunter won for doing that.
Backlash against The Artist. Now everyone looks back on the year that The Artist won everything. It's like, what were they doing?
That was a beautiful.
But you know,
I love The Artist.
Hollywood loves films about Hollywood. You know that.
Yes, true.
All right. Moving on to the Best Actor category. The nominees are Timothée Chalamet for Call Me By Your Name, Daniel Day-Lewis for Phantom Thread, Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out, Gary Oldman for Darkest Hour, and Denzel Washington for Roman J. Israel Esquire. Any surprises here?
Denzel Washington was a bit of a surprise, even though he got a SAG nomination and a Golden Globe nomination. But a lot of people haven't seen this movie, and nobody's really talking about it compared to the other films.
And some of the people who have seen it haven't loved it.
Lawyer.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I think it was definitely a big surprise, and I think that the elephant in the room there is that you're seeing him because you're not seeing James Franco there or anywhere. You know, you know, 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, if you had said who's a lock for a Best Actor nom, everybody would have said James Franco,
Yeah.
and then the world changed
And
considerably.
voters had 5 days from when those allegations first came out against him to actually the voting deadline. So there
5
was some
days.
time for them
Yeah,
to make up their
I'm
minds.
sure
Quickly to
people
talk
that were
about.
waiting until the last minute.
Yeah.
I'm sure that had.
I mean, I actually had to explain to somebody this morning, just in case all you out there on Twitter don't realize this, it's now digitized, the voting, so it's not like
Oh, really?
people are mailing in paper ballots. it's a digital, so you really can wait until the hour before the deadline
Yeah.
and submit. So it's not like 5 days before the deadline, well, most of the votes must have been mailed in by then. No, people, you know, as Jess was saying, people wait until pretty much the final day to go ahead and submit.
Yeah.
And James Franco won a Golden Globe and a Critics' Choice Award for this role.
he had a SAG
And he had
nomination.
a SAG nomination. So everyone assumed that he would be in this category.
Yeah,
So
and
you
Tom
all
Hanks-
really think the the allegations of sexually inappropriate behavior really hurt him?
I think so.
I definitely
Yeah.
think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. All right, let's talk about Timothée Chalamet. It's one of my favorite performances of the year. He was also great in Lady Bird, but in Call Me By Your Name, I thought he was extraordinary. And that name, he had me at Chalamet.
Chalamet. Then he brought his mom to the SAG Awards.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
So what did you think of his performance? And could he stand a chance to win? Talk about handing the baton to a younger generation. If he
Yeah.
walks away with this one, that's a real announcement there.
I think it's between him and Gary. I really do. I think it's a battle between the young and the old. And
Who will be victorious?
Exactly. I think it's going to be Gary, given the SAG win and given the Golden Globe. Timothy also won a Golden Globe. But there's a lot of buzz surrounding this guy. He's the breakout of the year. His performance carries that film. That's the reason the film got a Best Picture nomination. He's the face of this movie, and it's an extraordinary debut performance.
I've talked about that film with a lot of people, and they've said it isn't until you leave the film and actually really think about it do you realize just how much work he was doing in that film.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It really sits with you, and you're like, wait a minute. No over-the-top fireworks, but wow, what an incredible, subtle performance.
Yeah, and you know, I never saw Judi Dench do that with a peach. So
You've been waiting to say that.
Peach is waiting for its Best Supporting Actor or Actress nomination.
try that, Meryl.
Right?
Not happening.
Yeah.
Did you ever look at peaches the same way after that?
No, I bought a lot of them, but I did not look at them the same way.
Moving right along, we talk about Daniel Kaluuya. Again, not really known stateside, but
so
abroad,
good.
very popular abroad. What do you make? His picture was everywhere. All I think when I think of Get Out are his eyes.
And the tear
And the
stained
tears.
face. Yeah.
Incredible.
But to, again, be nominated for an Oscar, what do you make of that decision?
I mean, as you just said, he is literally the face of the movie, right? I mean, that is, you think of the movie and that moment, that picture, that is what you think of. And so I think one of the strongest ways to reward the film is to reward the face
Yeah.
of the movie.
Yeah.
And also, he
and I
was
think it's speaking-
extraordinary in it. I mean,
was fantastic.
those scenes where he's being hypnotized and the tears are streaming
Yeah.
down, he's really, really
He's
good.
really great.
Yeah.
He's a powerful, powerful actor.
And he's blowing up. He has Black Panther coming out in a
Yeah.
couple weeks, so
Excited
the
to
future's
see
bright
that.
for this guy.
I actually got to take a picture with him and Lupita at our party.
Oh,
our SAG
that's
Awards
nice.
Party. It's really cool. Name dropping.
I know. Oh, wait, I think here.
I think they're
I
calling
dropped
me.
something
Daniel
around there.
Denzel Washington's nomination was a surprise to me. What do you all think of that, really quickly?
Surprise.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised.
I wasn't surprised today. I've been surprised at how tenaciously he's held on to all of these nominations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no enthusiasm
None.
for the film.
No.
There's just enthusiasm for him. I think that there were two people who got in, not only because they're brilliant actors. I don't want to take anything away from their performances because they're both brilliant. However, people just love them so much that Denzel Washington, even though you don't he's going to be top of mind when it comes to, nominating actors. And the other is Octavia Spencer.
Yes.
She's beloved within the industry.
Clearly.
So I think that helped her, as well as the enthusiasm for Shape of Water. And also, she's just always surprising you as an actress.
She really
always,
is.
always.
And she had the most lines in Shape of Water.
By
And
far.
she did have to do all of
She
that.
had a lot of
She had to
dialogue.
memorize
she
lines.
had to do everything. She had to do
Let's give her an
all the
award.
talking, pretty much.
She memorized so many lines. Let's give her an award.
Okay, you guys, I have something very exciting that's about to happen.
Oh.
Allison Janney is on the phone.
Oh my God!
Allison Janney.
Yes, I
Allison Janney!
Allison Janney, congratulations. How are you feeling? Where were you when you heard that you had been nominated?
You cannot believe what happened to me this morning at 5. First of all, I went to bed. I was in bed at 9 p.m. thinking I just want to get some good sleep, which is just a joke because I didn't sleep one wink. I kept looking at the clock. And then at around, I think it was around 5 a.m., my bedroom door opened and 6 people came storming into my bedroom and jumped on my bed.
Well, that's not unusual.
That's just a Wednesday in your house. But I was floored. I had all these people who flew in from New York, friends of mine, who wanted to be here to watch the announcements. And there were so many people who were trying to protect me, say, "Don't do that. If she doesn't get it, she'll be sad." And my friends were like, "Yeah, if she doesn't get it, she's going to need us even more." So they all flew in, and it was just the most special morning to get up and watch the announcements with dear friends and family. It's truly a special moment. And for Octavia, too, who's one of my dearest friends on the planet, to see her in there, and Margot and Tatiana, our editor, and of course it's very bittersweet for me because Tanya didn't get a nod, which makes me sad because I think it's such a brilliant movie, and my friend Stephen wrote this part for me, and so I have it's a little bittersweet, but still he's so he's so happy for me, and he's going to be my date to the Oscars, so he's still part of it for me. He will always be, and it's an extraordinary thing. It's something you dream about as an actor, and to have it happen finally. I'm over the moon, just so thrilled.
Now, Allison, they say you should never work with kids or pets, and you actually worked with a bird. I think the bird might have been Rob. He might be upset that he didn't receive a Best Supporting Actor nomination right now.
He definitely deserves one. If they ever, I don't know if anyone does that for animals, and he tried to steal that scene from me, and I was just not going to let him. But I hands down, my favorite animal co-star, and I've had a lot of them. A lot of them on West Wing too. I think I worked with turkeys and goats, and I worked with dogs. I've worked with all kinds of animals, and this one was a special relationship we had. I really think that he fueled my performance in ways I could never have imagined.
Allison, it's Jess Cagle. When I saw you on,
Hi, Jess.
How are you?
I am so happy? Good. I'm so happy. We saw each other at the SAGs.
Yeah, at the SAG Awards, and you said that during this, your march to glory, you're also juggling production on Mom.
Yes, I'm standing on the set of Mom right now. I have to be at work today, and I'm so thrilled to have this be my job, though. After doing things like going to the SAG Awards, having all these heady award shows, getting to show up and go to work with these people I love at Mom, and if it weren't for them, I wouldn't have been able to do I, Tanya. They jiggled around the schedule so much to accommodate me. I'm really, really grateful to them, and happy to be here. Anna's already here. We're celebrating with me, and it's a wonderful thing to ground me, keep me here on the Mom set.
I want to talk about Tonya Harding. This film really helped redeem her public image, hasn't it?
I think so. I think if not redeem, at least it gives you more empathy for what she went through, what she was up against as a young girl in her family life and in the figure skating community, who really didn't want to embrace her. And even though her talent was undeniable, they just did not. They didn't think that she projected the kind of refined figure skating, model they want. They didn't think she fit, so they didn't encourage her or embrace her. And I feel a lot of empathy for her. I don't know. I mean, I certainly think she's paid a huge price for whatever involvement she had with the incident by having her whole career stripped away from her, and I know she was fined a great deal and did hours of community. She paid her price, and I don't know that we exonerated her. I don't think we'll ever know exactly what the story was, but knowing all the different players involved in her life and what she went through, I feel an enormous amount of empathy for her. I got a lovely text from her this morning, actually, congratulating me and saying, "You're going to the big top, girl," which I thought was really sweet. It was very, very nice, and I just think this movie is extraordinary. I love what Stephen did with it, telling this tragic American classic sports story. I'm thrilled.
Well, Allison, we're going to let you skate back to work because we know you're busy.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being here. You're going to the big top, girl. Thank you
welcome.
so much.
I know.
And
Jess, I love you.
congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'll talk to you
You too,
soon.
Allison. Everybody, even everybody's rooting for you. I'm sure even Octavia's rooting for you. So,
Oh,
good
she
work.
is. I know she is.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thanks, guys.
All right, so you guys, let's keep talking about Best Supporting Actress in a minute. So great to talk to Allison Janney. I mean, she was so fantastic. All right, let's do Best Supporting Actor first, and then we'll go back to Best Supporting Actress. All right, the nominees announced this morning in that category were Willem Dafoe for The Florida Project, Woody Harrelson for 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Richard Jenkins for The Shape of Water, Christopher Plummer for All the Money in the World, and Sam Rockwell for 3 Billboards. And there were some surprises here, including Woody Harrelson's nominations, and some people also thought Call Me By Your Name's Armie Hammer or Michael Stuhlbarg might have snuck in. What do you all make of all this?
Armie Hammer was not
Never really
nominated
had
for
a
the SAG
shot.
Awards.
Yeah.
Kind of
So
been
that
ignored.
it was, yeah, I think he was
great in the
robbed a
movie,
little bit of
but-
this. He's great in the movie.
Yeah. He
To
was
me,
nominated for a Globe.
It's true.
Nominated for a Globe.
Right.
Yeah. Michael Stuhlbarg didn't get any nominations.
Yeah.
Which was
But a lot of
surprising to
people
me
saw him
because
as
he's-
being an under the radar possible nog because the monologue he doesn't Call Me By Your Name is arguably the
So great.
Yeah.
film's
Yeah.
biggest high point, and he's incredible in it. And he also stars in 2 other Best Picture nominees, The Post and Shape of Water. So,
So shouldn't he be like, I'm the common thread
right?
here?
Well, maybe he got canceled up because of all his performances.
I'm the phantom thread here.
Exactly.
So to me, I knew there seemed to be 4 sure things, and that was I don't think Woody Harrelson actually was a surprise just because he's had the SAG award and all that, but Willem Dafoe, Woody Harrelson, Richard Jenkins, and Sam Rockwell, who I think is probably going to win,
Yes.
by the way.
It's his to lose, right?
Kind
To,
of.
Pretty
to
much,
me, the one that snuck in there was Christopher Plummer,
Yeah.
which is a great story.
Right.
What a blow to Kevin Spacey that is,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And he's 88, which makes him the oldest Oscar nominee actor of all time.
Yeah, oldest actor nominee ever.
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 Which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Parachuted in, saved the film,
Had
2
2
weeks of
weeks.
reshoots, and there he is.
When
Yeah.
I
Yeah, that
saw that
deserves a
movie,
nomination.
I couldn't believe it wasn't like he does a couple of scenes.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of the movie.
Yeah.
So I don't blame Mark Wahlberg for demanding $1.5 million.
Oh boy, we want to go there?
Are we gonna let's go there?
Let's do it.
Let's go there. Let's go there.
Oh,
Jess.
could you
ready?
imagine?
I'm not
Could you
defending Mark Wahlberg
imagine?
in that. No way.
Let's not go there. But yeah, what Christopher
He
Plummer
donated,
managed-
by the way, he donated it.
True.
They
After the
failed,
backlash.
they all,
Eventually.
the filmmakers and the agency failed to tell Michelle Williams
Yeah.
that while you're nice to do this for free, your co-stars
Yeah, this is on
for
the
$1.5 million.
And-
Anyway, he made it. They all made it right. The
Yeah.
agency donated $500,000 to the
I wanna know what
Time's Up
Christopher
Legal
Plummer
Defense
made.
Fund.
Do we all
Right, but what did they do?
Christopher Plummer made a lot.
Did
They
he?
donate to
bet.
Michelle Williams' pocket. That's what I want to know.
They donated nothing to her pie. She did it for free. Ultimately, Mark Wahlberg did it for free, and the Time's Up Legal Defense Fund ended up with a couple of $1 million.
That's
so
true.
that's great.
All's well that ends
Yeah,
well.
that was all. It had a happy ending.
Michelle Williams, get your coins, though. All right. The last of the big 8 categories that we haven't dove into is Best Supporting Actress, and it's a really exciting one this year, guys. I love this category. The nominees are Mary J. Blige for Mudbound, Allison Janney for I, Tonya, Leslie Manville for Phantom Thread, Laurie Metcalf for Lady Bird, and Octavia Spencer for The Shape of Water. Any surprises here? I was
Mary J.
hoping Mary J.
Blige was
Blige.
a fantastic surprise. I mean, she was first out of the gate when they were reading off the nominees, and you could actually hear in the room there were some hoots and
Yeah.
some. I mean, it's great. It's,
she got 2
it's
Oscar nominations
Fantastic,
this
yeah,
morning.
because she's there in song as well.
Best song
and
as
so-
well.
Yeah, since she had a SAG nomination, I wasn't surprised. I thought that she would get in. Octavia Spencer, I was really glad.
Yeah.
And Leslie Manville from Phantom
that was a
Thread.
really good surprise.
That's the one that really was a surprise. And
Yeah.
it reflected the sort of enthusiasm,
For
the
the movie.
surprising enthusiasm that the Academy actually had for that movie that a lot of critics groups and guilds did not have.
And she's so good in the movie.
She really is.
She goes toe-to-toe with Daniel Day-Lewis and
Daniel
doesn't miss a
Day-Lewis is
beat.
no-nonsense
Yeah.
sister, and that's a hard one to go up against.
For
It's
sure.
hard to
Yeah.
hold your own against Daniel Day-Lewis, but Leslie Manville is such a veteran.
She is.
If anyone can hold their own against
thought she was
DDL, it's
nominated-
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they all need to be practicing though. Like 4 out of the 5 of them just need to be practicing how to say like it is such an honor to be nominated because Allison Janney is winning. This
Yeah,
Like, it just doesn't
Allison
matter.
Janney is going to win.
It just
Yeah.
doesn't
The
matter.
one that probably feels robbed this morning is Hung Chow.
Yeah,
From Downsizing, a movie that really got no love.
No.
None.
And it's a problematic film.
Very.
But she was on the march and then didn't get it. Leslie Manville
she was
really
great
got her
in the
spot.
movie.
It's interesting because I felt like it's Frances McDormand and Laurie Metcalf have been neck and neck this entire time. What do you guys think?
Well, they
Allison
have
Janney?
been.
I'm sorry, Allison Janney.
Yeah, not Laurie Metcalf. I mean, I think Laurie Metcalf is actually the one who, in any other year, I think this would be her award.
Yeah.
I think that the response to her in Lady Bird, you know, the driving away from the airport scene alone in any Allison Janney free year
Would win you an Oscar.
You're winning. You're winning. You're winning. And it's just that, you know, this film happened to come out the same year that Allison Janney did what she did.
And Laurie did a lot, 'cause
though-
she was funny, but she also had to be really strong and really
did.
poignant.
I
the
think-
emotional center of
But
this
Allison
film.
Janney's just been given so many good speeches. I think people
So
just
many
want
good
to see her
speeches.
back up on
I
that stage.
still think this is Clash of the Titans between Laurie Metcalf and Allison Janney.
Right.
Neither of whom have won an Oscar or been nominated before.
No, it's like the battle of the sitcom.
It really is.
Exactly. People
Yeah.
who
The
are
battle of the sitcom
veterans,
sidekicks.
done
Yep.
great
Sitcom
work,
actors.
they've worked in every medium. So because Allison won the SAG Award, that's why I think
Yeah.
it's,
It's also just a flashier role. She has a
and it's
parrot
a
on
kind of
top
a
of her for
villain.
most of the
Right,
and a
it's a
villain.
parrot.
Yeah.
So I think she'll get it. But supporting actress is the one that always has an upset.
You're right. Yeah.
Yes.
I
So
think
you have
Leslie
always an
Manville could
upset.
get
But
it.
here's I
That's
think
my
the
wild
thread
card
for the
prediction.
upset is it always has an upset when the front runner feels a little dutiful. So it's like the year that Lauren Bacall didn't win and Juliette Binoche did instead. It was because Lauren Bacall was nominated for The Mirror Has Two Faces, which everyone was like, oh.
She had been mean to people for
and she'd been
50
mean to
years.
people
Well, that too,
for
right?
many years.
She was like she had like turned her back on Hollywood and gone to New York.
And the year that Marcia Gay Harden won over Kate Hudson, everyone was a little bit like, Kate Hudson, you take
And
a seat.
Marissa Tomei over
You'll
Judi
be-
Dench.
Exactly.
Yes,
And
that
I
was a
just
big
feel
surprise.
like there's nobody who doesn't want to give this to Allison Janney. It's not like other years of upsets where the front runner feels a little forced and like, oh, I guess, they've
earned it.
They've
Yeah.
earned it. They paid
Yeah.
their dues. It's their time. That's not what's happening here.
There's true
Everybody wants
excitement.
Allison Janney to
Yeah,
win
true
this, so
excitement
she's
about
gonna-
Allison
They will
Janney.
happily
gonna
hand
win
her
it.
the award,
Yeah.
is what you're saying. All right. Well, when it comes to the other categories, there were a couple of fun surprises and nominations, including Kobe Bryant's nomination for his animated short film, Dear Basketball. Kobe tweeted, "What? This is beyond the realm of imagination. It means so much that the Academy deemed Dear Basketball worthy of contention. Thanks to the genius of Glenn Keane and John Williams for taking my poem to this level. It's an honor to be on this team. Hashtag Oscar noms." Kobe Bryant?
We live in a world where Kobe Bryant has an Oscar nomination.
Yeah.
Right?
Now,
Can you believe
that happened this morning. Now it's that world.
Now,
Yeah, that's good.
Like, what are we doing? Like, Kobe Bryant.
I
And
need
he
to
may
see
walk
this.
away. He's won every other championship ring. He may actually
Sure.
walk away with an
I
Oscar.
want to see Kobe make an acceptance.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. I'd like to thank my coach, Phil. I mean, wait, wrong room.
I also want to interview him on the red carpet and be like,
Right.
"Hi, Kobe.
Yeah.
This is the way I am with Nicole Kidman also, and any woman in heels." Well, that's with everybody.
Before we go, what were the nominations today that particularly stuck out to you?
Oh, I'm surprised
overall.
about all the enthusiasm for Phantom Thread.
yep.
That was one thing, and I don't know. It was more the ones that did not get nominated that surprised me the most. But the enthusiasm for Darkest Hour and Phantom Thread, I think, was something that was very unexpected going on.
Yeah,
Kate?
I agree, and I was, I share our caller's sentiment that it was bittersweet for me to not see I, Tonya as Best Picture, to not see it get an adapted screenplay nod. I feel like there were moments for that film to further be rewarded that didn't happen. So I was sad about that, but excited to see to feel almost that Get Out, Lady Bird, that they seem to have some really strong momentum going into Best Picture.
Yeah.
And that to me is also reflected by some of the snubs for 3 Billboards. So I feel like I'm mostly thrilled by how exciting a lot of the races seem, and how a lot of it just feels too close to call.
And the nominations for Dee Reese and Jordan
Yes.
Peele
Yeah.
and Greta Gerwig,
Yep.
those are really important nominations.
Yep.
For sure.
And they've I think it's indicative of of a movement that's happening in the culture. I think it's indicative of sort of a reckoning in Hollywood.
And also the changing of the Academy. Of over 1,000 new voters were inaugurated last year, and so that may have also impacted the choices.
A lot of them still look like me.
Yeah.
So.
That's okay. You look great. We just got to mix it up a little bit. You know, have some that look like me in the mix. We'll be good.
Yeah.
There you go.
And Nigel, you really quickly?
Yeah, I like the nominations. I was a little dispirited to see the lack of female-led movies this year. I thought Molly's Game might get in there. I thought, what was another one? Wonder Woman would get a Best Picture nomination. So I was a little sad to not see that happen. We had something ready to go if that was to be the case.
And even though Feud, the Betty and Joan story, was a TV show, I wanted it to get nominated for a movie.
Sure, that'd be great. Big Little Lies too. Why can't that get in the mix for that matter?
Rent out a theater and show it, what, like one time for consideration?
And what about MTV's Ridiculousness? That is the best show.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting loopy over here, which means it's time to go. It's going to be very interesting to see how this all shapes up as award season marches forward. The Oscars take place on Sunday, March 4th. Jez, Kate, Nigel, I want to thank you so much for being here.
Lola.
Thank you for your expertise. Thank you for chatting nominations. Have a good day, everyone. Happy Oscar nomination day.